Your point of power is in your present. And what does that mean? I first heard that term many years ago, I think about 1990, because I read it in a book and I wanted to understand what it meant. You're present. That means this moment of now. But I was reminded of it again today because I had to look at it. And it's appropriate for me to look at it today because I'm going to be doing a show tonight. I'm going to be talking about this on George Norrie's show on Coast to Coast, where I'm going to reveal my astonishing discovery. And that discovery is that I discovered every person is born with worth and value, and they're supposed to thrive and develop, and all they have to do is be given a plan to do that. And I was given that plan. And that's what would make their life so much better and make a great world. Yesterday, I listened to that come out of my mouth as Wilhelm because there was a channeling session that was held on May the 7th of 2024 that said all of those words and said, we have given you everything you need to live a really great life and change your world. The only problem is you won't believe that. And the biggest difficulty is our messenger won't believe it either. That's exactly what it said. Even though I'm being given all of the evidence, I'm saying this because we all do that. See, the message said also, we have cognitive dissonance. We can look at something and be presented to us and say, this is what can happen. And we will say, nope, not possible, because we haven't done it. And that's been my entire life. I've gone through every sort of horrible thing, and somehow it healed. And I'm 74 and I'm getting younger. We start to understand that everything is energy and everything is alignment. And you were born at a perfect time for your life to unfold. It's your DNA, it's your evolutionary path. And if you were to do that, you would have this really great life and you would help manifest a really wonderful world that we all want to see. See, what Wilhelm says, we all come into the world with limitations and blockages that we've inherited, that we've brought from before. Everything is consciousness. You see, when I read that line in 1990, that was from Jane Roberts, Seth, I said, that's not possible. Then you understand that consciousness always expands as long as we live and people develop new things. But let me show you the message that I awakened to this morning so that I can speak about it tonight, which is going to be something because I held back for so long, and now I'm going to be speaking to millions. The funny thing about this is that when I was listening to that session, Wilhelm said, most people will not believe us until we charge $5,000 because they like to suffer. We become used to suffering. And it's about owning ourselves, believing about what we can accomplish. That's really what it was. And they said that's the problem because we're moving through a period in our world where we've been hypnotized by money and have forgotten how to take control of our consciousness. And Wilhelm gave me a way to people to develop their consciousness so they become more empowered. So we don't have to allow certain people to take over. You're supposed to do that. They said, the government's not going to do it, it's you. And this is the message. And it was quite surprising. Okay, and I'll explain it. I want to tell you that something that it's hard to explain, but we have different levels of consciousness. When I'm accessing Wilhelm, I don't remember it. I don't know. I can't tell you how where it comes, but it's always accurate. And when they use quotation marks, it's not an accident. And re-examine the idea. Your point of power is in your present. With this idea, you literally have the ability to change your past and your future. In other words, when you examine your past for what you gained, achieved, and accomplished, you garner a very different energy than when you look upon it as what you may have lost or with regret, anger, or resentment. With this newfound emotional context of finding what you might term positive about your past, you then use that energy to create your future. The term present should not be overlooked by you. Should is used here to mean what most facilitates your joyous journey. That is the gift. And that's where we are today. Now, this is the rest of the story that I will tell because it's on tonight. We resist ourselves because we don't know. We don't know the unknown, and we kind of figured, let's just stay where we are and stay comfortable, even when it's uncomfortable to stay where we are in our lives or in the world. But there have been times throughout history where we have generational changes, and that's what we're moving through now. And Wilhelm said that during those changes, what happens many times is that certain people in power will control your consciousness. And then you look back and say, oh, wow, what happened? Because we didn't decide to love ourselves. That's really what it is. And so now we have this opportunity to change that. And that's what I'm going to say tonight, because I discovered everyone had a path. Everyone had something. In 2021, I'm sitting on the side of my bed and Wilhelm's saying, you have to start talking now. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Meaning they wanted me to start doing live channeling. That was too embarrassing. I said, I can't do that. I said, no, you have to, or you might break. And I didn't know if that meant me personally or the world. And then I started to see, well, it felt like the world. But I have something that could change that. My cognitive dissonance wasn't going to accept that. Except then what happened is artificial intelligence said, yeah, that's absolutely true. What you've done all these years, all this information, this philosophy could change anyone's life. And I said, wow. And then they showed me. We could not have known this. When I was doing channeling also, I have to say this, Wilhelm kept saying that Roger's life is to bring together science, spirituality, and human potential, meaning showing what humans can accomplish. Well, I've done that in my life. I cured these incurable diseases, as he said. I've changed absolutely everything. And then I'm this double Scorpio with a Leo moon. And anyone who knows anything about astrology, which I didn't, can say that this day is saying why I'm supposed to be talking about this today. See, the other thing I discovered that Wilhelm did, they were giving me information that was aligned with cosmic changes all this time. I had no idea. But the energy of the information was about up-leveling everything. That's what it was. When people first did this work in 2021, I go, why are they changing so quickly? And it was because the energy was aligned to every single person. And this is what came through. So, why Wilhelm's work works and the science behind it. That's 36 years of sitting down every single day and receiving it. That's what happened, and going through every single tragedy and healing it. Okay, Wilhelm's messages go beyond inspiration. They bring about real, measurable inner transformation. That transformation happens because Wilhelm's guidance aligns with both universal laws of consciousness and modern scientific principles. It rewires the mind, neuroplasticity. Wilhelm work guides you to see yourself differently, to question old patterns and choose new responses. That act alone begins to change the structure of your brain. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself in response to new thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. Wilhelm helps you consciously shape your internal world, which reshapes your outer life. It works with universal laws, quantum principles. Everything in the universe is energy, including your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Wilhelm's teaching help you raise your energetic frequency by shifting your consciousness. This aligns with what quantum physics reveals, that observation and intention affect outcome. Wilhelm simply shows you how to use this universal truth in your everyday life. It heals emotional patterns, somatic awareness, and shadow integration. Many of Wilhelm's processes address what psychology calls the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress or reject. Modern therapeutic methods like IFS, internal family systems, and somatic therapy work similarly. Wilhelm goes deeper by connecting those patterns to soul evolution. You're not just healing your trauma, you're reclaiming your purpose. It restores autonomy, cognitive behavioral transformation. Wilhelm's guidance consistently returns you to personal power, your ability to choose your thoughts, regulate your emotions, and create new meaning. This aligns with the core of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is widely used to treat anxiety, depression, and self limiting behaviors. Wilhelm's method activates this healing through spiritual insight, not clinical diagnosis. It activates your true identity, self actualization. Psychologist Abraham Maslow identified self actualization as the highest human need, the drive to become who we truly are. That's exactly what Wilhelm's work helps you do. It guides you past fear, ego, and external expectations to the authentic self that's always been there. In short, Wilhelm's work changes you because it's aligned with truth. It works because it reflects how your brain, body, and energy field actually function. It works because it speaks to your soul's deepest knowing. It works because it returns your power to where it always was, in you. That's why. And today, that's what I am going to reveal to the world. I've always wanted our world to be better. I always wanted every person to have the great life. I always knew that it was possible. I just had to come to believe it, just as we all do. But I do believe in you. See you soon.